afternoon. This is Raul Vergara with Color-Based Solar Solutions, and I'm here today to bring you up to speed with what's happening in Tallahassee this week regarding House Bill 741. As you may or may not have heard, it was heard by two different committees this week, and unfortunately, it was voted yes to move forward for both committees. So House Bill 741, and we'll talk in a few minutes about the amendments that were introduced today, is now clear to move to the House floor. Now, the version that we saw today, although it looks like a very different version, and it looks like the solar industry has been, protected, is absolutely the opposite. Although some provisions were put in to protect existing customers for the next 20 years, and a glide path was introduced to allow the changes in the net metering rates to be applied on a time basis over the next 4 years, leading to 2029, when the Public Service Commission will be required to relook and readdress net metering. If that was the bill, I would be saying we're ready to move forward. Unfortunately, attached to that, they attach the ability starting in 2024 for the public utility companies to attach any number of rates to solar customers, basically a penalty for going solar. They attach many different trigger points, including something as small as growing by 1% in a calendar year. That will trigger everything to move forward to 2029. When you look at all these provisions built into the bill, it really makes no sense whatsoever. This bill is still going to kill a lot of jobs in Florida, and it's going to cause every Floridian's rates to go up, because the bill, an unintended consequence, is still to solidify the monopoly of the public utility companies and make sure to remove the competition so that the utility companies can raise your rates and you don't have a choice. So after the two committees heard the bill this week, and after they both voted entirely on pretty much along party lines, and they moved the bill forward, what can we do? I think it's more important than ever that right now we start contacting our local House representatives. They can introduce amendments to the bill when it goes to the House floor. There's two things that I would like added to this amendment. I would like to see an elimination of those trigger points that will move the scale forward to 2029 as early as next year. But more importantly, I would like to see amendments introduced to do two things. Number one, allow homeowners to go off the grid. I'll say it once and I'll say it 1,000 times. If we are such a cost shift, allow us to unplug. Allow us to be off the grid, therefore we do not cost anybody any money. We're all aware that there's no such cost shift. The solar customer today does not cost any non-solar customer any money. But if you want to claim that we are, then allow us to be off the grid. Number two, let's carve out an exception to this bill for public schools, private schools, and government entities. These are, especially the government entities and the public schools, they are already paying their electricity bill with everybody's rates. As taxpayers, we all pay for this cost. So why not allow them to stay on the current net metering rules so that they can benefit the most from solar, and at least we can use those rooftops to expand solar in Florida. So two amendments that we would like to see. Allow homeowners to disconnect from the grid and carve out an exception for public entities like public schools and government buildings. Any House member can introduce that when the bill goes to the floor. If you contact your local representatives, and you can go to our page and you can see a lot of local links and a lot of local representatives that we can contact, we can get any of them to understand that there's no cost shift and to help us introduce these amendments. I think this bill, if it passes through the House floor, can be much better at the end and more friendlier at the end towards the solar industry. So please don't forget to contact your local elected officials at the state level. This has to be the House of Representatives. They're going to be the ones we're going to be voting on. They're the ones who introduce these amendments. Contact them and let the sun power your lifestyle.